It's too late.
He sold his soul, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I will never understand why somebody's going to be that rich and that famous and you don't get a prenup. That is just, that's like Kevin, he's young and he's in.
They'll try to hit you with why I get a prenup if you really love me. If you really love me, sign the prenup. What you here for? If you here for love, just sign this joint.
Picture this. You're 22 years old, fresh out of college, and you just signed a contract that's supposed to set you up for life. $46 million guaranteed, with a $30 million signing bonus hitting your account. Most people would call that winning the lottery. But for Travis Hunter, that massive payday might actually be the setup for the most expensive mistake in recent sports history. Because right now, whispers are swirling that his wife Leanna is allegedly demanding $40 million in their divorce proceedings. Let that sink in for a second. She's essentially asking for almost his entire rookie contract, leaving him with just enough to pay taxes and agent fees. We're talking about a financial catastrophe so severe that bankruptcy isn't just possible, it's practically inevitable. But here's where the story gets absolutely wild. This isn't some random tragedy that struck out of nowhere. Every single red flag was waving in hurricane-force winds. And somehow, this young man chose to ignore every warning sign imaginable. Industry veterans were screaming from the rooftops. Comedians were making jokes that weren't really jokes. Even his own coach was publicly begging him to protect himself legally. The most mind-blowing part? The entire internet collectively held its breath watching this disaster unfold in slow motion. Like witnessing a car crash where the driver has plenty of time to hit the brakes, but somehow floors the accelerator instead. What we're about to break down isn't just a cautionary tale about love and money. It's a masterclass in how ignoring obvious warning signs can transform your biggest blessings into your worst nightmare. Because once you trace back through the breadcrumbs of this relationship, the writing wasn't just on the wall, it was painted in neon letters, set on fire, and accompanied by a marching band. Now let's talk about something that should make every young athlete's blood run cold. When it came time to plan their wedding, guess who insisted on the location? That's right, Leanna. And her choice wasn't Georgia, where Travis played college ball, or Florida, where they spent time together, or anywhere connected to their love story. She zeroed in on Chattanooga, Tennessee, like a heat-seeking missile.
Strategic with it. She know what she doing.
I'm thinking it's
boy.
going to be within the first 2.5 years.
It's going to be.
Her public explanation? The venue was gorgeous. The mountains, the scenery, the perfect backdrop for their dream wedding. Sweet story, right? Except there's a legal landmine buried beneath all that romantic packaging that most people don't know about. Tennessee operates under some of the most spouse-friendly divorce laws in the entire country. While most states require couples to be married for several years before alimony kicks in, Tennessee throws that requirement straight out the window. You could literally file for divorce the day after your honeymoon and still walk away with spousal support if you can prove financial need. Think about that for a second. In Tennessee, there's no waiting period, no minimum marriage duration. No, you need to tough it out for at least X amount of years requirement. As long as you can demonstrate that you became financially dependent on your spouse, the court can award you maintenance payments immediately. Legal experts have been sounding alarms about this loophole for years, especially when it comes to high-earning athletes and celebrities. It's become the destination of choice for what divorce attorneys call strategic marriages. The state's laws are so favorable that some lawyers have nicknamed Tennessee the Las Vegas of divorce settlements.
It's like an epidemic of women married and taking your money and scramming.
Yeah, you got women that are predators looking to get drafted.
Yes.
Now, here's the truly chilling part. Travis reportedly had multiple attorneys offering to draft a prenuptial agreement for free. Industry veterans were literally begging him to protect his assets. But somehow, between all the wedding planning and romantic bliss, that legal protection never materialized. So when you connect the dots, the strategic location choice, the lack of prenuptial protection, and the timing of everything, it starts to look less like a fairy tale romance and more like a carefully orchestrated business transaction. And the most expensive business deals often happen in places where the laws heavily favor one party over the other. The venue might have been beautiful, but the legal framework underneath it, that was absolutely lethal. Let's rewind to the very beginning, because in hindsight, the signals Travis Hunter missed were practically screaming for his attention. First, there's the infamous $ tattoo on Leanna's ring finger. Sure, some people get quirky ink for fun, but in this story, it couldn't have been more symbolic. The focus on money was front and center, right where the wedding band ought to be. Fans and skeptics online zoomed in immediately, asking themselves, was this a commitment to Travis or just a commitment to chasing the bag? Dig deeper and you'll find another striking clue. Leanna, in a widely circulated interview not long before they tied the knot, admitted, "He wasn't my type at all." She brushed off Travis's initial attempts to win her over, saying she went for a very different kind of guy. It sounds harmless at first, but when someone publicly downplays their attraction to their own partner, that's not just lack of chemistry, it's a flashing warning sign about true motivation.
On the A, you got a $ tattooed on your ring finger. You never, ever, ever trust you got a $ tattooed on her ring finger.
Their early social media interactions also raised eyebrows for a lot of people watching from the sidelines. Travis would post heartfelt messages, celebrate milestones, and gush about their future. Leanna, often her responses were short, sarcastic, or even subtly dismissive. Observers picked up on the mismatch, questioning aloud whether the relationship had substance or was fueled by the excitement of fame and fortune. And this wasn't just private speculation. Friends and veterans of the league repeatedly tried to voice concern. Even casual fans could see the cracks. There's a pattern among high-profile athletes. When your partner's public statements are more about lifestyle than about you, be wary. But the wildest part is that these red flags weren't hidden. They were public, documented, and left a digital trail for anyone with an internet connection to follow. Industry insiders, fans, and even Travis's own circle spotted them early. But love, or something that looked a lot like infatuation, clouded his judgment and turned obvious warning signs into background noise. Stack up the $ tattoo, the not my type comments, and the lukewarm responses, and you get a clear message. Sometimes what's left unsaid is the true answer you should be listening to. Now let's zoom in on one of the most public moments that had everyone talking, the infamous Heisman Trophy ceremony. Travis Hunter should have been basking in the pinnacle of his college football career, celebrated by legends, cheered by fans, basically living the dream most athletes work a lifetime to achieve. But instead, that spotlight had a shadow trailing behind it, one that made every camera just a bit colder.
People stand up, especially your family, especially your fiance. They give you a standing ovation, hug you, celebrate you. Leanna didn't get that memo. Let's watch the clip.
During the ceremony, as Travis took to the stage, all eyes weren't just on his speech or his stats, but on Leanna's demeanor beside him. Body language experts and thousands of social media sleuths picked up on the awkward tension. Instead of supporting her husband or sharing in his pride, Leanna seemed distant, fidgeting with her phone, and barely offering a smile. In key moments where partners traditionally joined the celebration, she was caught looking disengaged, even bored. Adding salt to the wound when Travis's mentor, Deion Sanders, tried to guide Leanna to stand alongside her husband, she reportedly brushed off the gesture and remained on the sidelines. The crowd noticed, viewers noticed, clips spread like wildfire online. Is she really here for him or just the limelight? Became the viral question of the night.
It was only about her. The man got all this NIL money and he's a Heisman candidate. Every camera is on him all the time. Yet now you choose to be a him in public. You have no problem embarrassing your man in public.
And that wasn't an isolated moment. At major brand events like the high-profile Adidas launch where Travis was front and center, Leanna's attitude raised even more eyebrows. While other couples showed off genuine chemistry and excitement, Leanna kept a chilly distance, barely interacting with Travis and sometimes mingling more with event staff than with fellow athletes or sponsors. What could have been dazzling career-defining nights for Travis were dimmed by public displays of disrespect and disinterest. Instead of feeling supported, he became the subject of countless marriage meme threads and viral clips dissecting Leanna's every move. In a world where appearances matter, those public humiliations weren't just embarrassing, they were warning signs about deeper cracks in the relationship, ones no trophy could ever gloss over. Let's peel back the curtain on another huge issue that friends, mentors, and leagues of fans saw from day one: the party princess routine. Long before legal threats and bank statements, there were warning signs in the everyday details. How a couple lives together, supports each other, and shows respect when nobody's looking. With Travis and Leanna, the contrast could not have been starker. Despite his fame and massive earning potential, Travis is famously disciplined, rarely drinks, hyper-focused on training, and is known in the community for his low-key lifestyle. Leanna, the opposite. Insiders and followers alike could track her wild nights out through social media. Polished club photos, cocktail selfies, and stories of marathon parties running well into the morning. That in itself isn't a crime, but the dynamic outside those parties told a story you couldn't ignore.
Wrong with Travis not being a partier, and she likes to party, and you not wanting to stop your girl's life. But the fact that you drove her to the party and waited outside the party and drove her home just screams insecurity. And why do we know?
Numerous stories and first-person accounts recall Travis spending hours waiting outside venues or in parking lots while Leanna continued to party. Even teammates and friends have confirmed he'd sometimes act as her on-call driver, pulling up at 2 a.m. to whisk her home after a particularly late night. For an athlete whose window for peak performance is razor-thin, sacrificing sleep and routine to play chauffeur night after night sent the wrong message to everyone watching.
Just screams insecurity. And why do we know this? Why do we know this? So after all these red flags, the internet went to digging, and they found that, A, you got a $ tattooed on your ring finger. You never, ever, ever trusted a $ tattooed on her ring finger.
What strikes many as the real red flag isn't just the partying, it's the imbalance. In high-profile relationships, most successful partners make efforts to support each other's dreams. Here, the pattern showed Leanna prioritizing her social calendar, while Travis bent over backward to accommodate, even at the expense of his craft. In public, she seemed to delight in telling these stories, framing Travis as the devoted partner willing to put his needs aside. Sound familiar? It should. Athletes before Travis have fallen into this trap. The story of the supportive partner, plagued by disrespect and lopsided effort, is as old as the industry itself. Former stars and commentators have flagged these warning signs for years. When your partner prioritizes parties and clout over your career and rest, disaster is on the horizon. So as the costly divorce headlines break, the seeds of trouble weren't planted in a courthouse or a bank account. They grew in the long nights where Travis was parked outside while the real celebration went on without him. Sometimes the real warning isn't loud at all. It's in who's left waiting in the car. If you thought the red flags were obvious before, wait until you hear how many heavyweights tried to intervene for Travis Hunter and were completely ignored. This wasn't the usual social media noise. It was a parade of legends, mentors, and athletic veterans practically begging him to pause and reconsider before taking the plunge. Start with Deion Sanders, the coach prime himself. If there's one person on the planet who understands the traps of fame and fortune in the sports world, it's Deion. Before Travis ever said "I do," Deion went viral for pulling him aside at Jackson State and giving it to him straight. If you're thinking about marriage, you need to protect yourself. On camera, Deion even joked, "Let me know because I'ma do your prenup for you. It's going to be about this thick," stacking his hands high. It was laughed off at the time, chalked up to a coach being overprotective. But with divorce rumors now swirling, it's starting to sound downright prophetic.
I ain't good. Because I'm going to do your prenup for you. It's going to be about this thick. And this is going to be the cover of it. A little engine and coupe.
Then came the wave of celebrity advice. Rapper Bow Wow went on Shannon Sharpe's podcast and didn't hold back, saying,
I ain't going to tell you what to do, but I want you to open up your eyes, man. There's no reason why she commenting on another page, an NBA with her eyes and the mother money tongue out. That's your fiance. Wake up, young brother. Fiancés don't move like that.
Bow Wow, drawing from his own industry experience, warned Travis not to let infatuation cloud his judgment, explaining how fast things could turn when there's money and fame involved. Podcasters like Cameron and Mays also joined the chorus, advising Travis to be careful and lock down his finances. One even said he should look in the direction of protecting his assets. Maybe not with a prenup, but there's other things you can do these days. Veteran athletes and fans chimed in. If the roles were reversed, you know there'd be a prenup. Still, Travis publicly and privately stuck to his G's and dismissed the concerns as mere negativity, insisting that love and loyalty would see him through. The most sobering thing? Every single piece of this advice was delivered before the headlines, before the calls from lawyers, and before the world saw exactly how much he stood to lose. The lesson? Sometimes even a stadium full of lifelines can't save you if you choose to ignore them. Beneath all the relationship drama and celebrity headlines is a cold reality. Young athletes like Travis Hunter are prime targets for strategic relationships. This isn't just about one failed marriage. It's about a pattern that plays out again and again, and the numbers are devastating.
Sometimes you gotta let people make their own mistakes. Sometimes you just can't tell nobody nothing.
Studies from major sports organizations and financial watchdogs reveal a sobering fact. About 78% of NFL players face serious financial trouble, including bankruptcy, within just 2 years of retirement. The reasons sound familiar: sudden wealth, lack of experience with money management, and the crushing pressure to maintain a certain image both on and off the field. But a huge part of the problem, experts warn, comes from relationships that turn transactional the minute contracts are signed. Athlete advisors and former players often describe what they call the playbook used by those targeting young stars. It starts with whirlwind romance and fast-moving commitments, trips, gifts, flash, and a push for a wedding in a jurisdiction that quietly favors spousal payouts. From there, it's a matter of establishing financial dependence quickly. Luxury homes, extravagant shopping, social posts showing off access to wealth that's not truly theirs.
They'll try to hit you with that. Why I get a prenup? If you really love me. If you really love me, sign the prenup. What you here for? If you here for love, just sign this joint.
In Travis's case, those patterns are all visible in hindsight. A relationship that moved quickly, sudden wedding plans in an athlete-favorable state, and no solid prenup despite warnings from professionals and personal mentors. It's a formula lawyers see over and over, because family courts in places like Tennessee almost always lean toward the lower-earning spouse, especially if they can show a lifestyle change after marriage. Financial advisors interviewed by major outlets say they often create divorce disaster checklists for young pros. Avoid joint accounts too soon. Separate business from romance. Never make big purchases together before signing ironclad legal agreements. Unfortunately, love and excitement tend to cloud judgment right when the risk is highest.
It's too late.
He sold his soul, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I will never understand why somebody's going to be that rich and that famous and you don't get a prenup. That's like Kevin, he's young and he's in love.
One of the biggest signals came with Travis's grand wedding gift, a Mercedes G-Wagon, gifted right after the ceremony. The car itself was a showstopper, sleek, expensive, and meant to broadcast happily ever after to the world. But as cameras rolled, capturing the moment Leanna saw her new ride, her reaction went viral for all the wrong reasons. No surprise, no over-the-top gratitude, not even a convincing smile. Instead, she almost looked bored, glancing at the car like it was already old news. Comment sections lit up. That's it? She acts like he just handed her the keys to a rental.
Right?
Yeah, them bro. Yeah, them.
You'll probably need it when that shit goes south.
That's the option, right?
But it wasn't just the gift. Footage of the couple at the reception revealed another uncomfortable moment, an alleged kiss dodge, with Leanna subtly turning her head away as Travis leaned in. The dance floor energy? Stiff. Their social media posts afterward? Practically non-existent. Usually newlyweds flood their feeds with professional photos and gushing captions. This time, silence. No heartwarming, best day of my life stories, no couple selfies from the honeymoon, just radio silence and careful curation, as if the whole affair was an obligation rather than a dream fulfilled. It was only a matter of time before reality caught up. As the honeymoon stage faded into cold distance and the financial stress mounted, the digital trail began telling its own story. Suddenly, Leanna's once effervescent social media presence went dark. Where there were once party highlights and couple goal snapshots, now there was a string of cryptic posts or nothing at all.
There's certain women who have the need to always be a victim. And I do believe that she probably thinks that she's the one who has suffered because of public scrutiny. It's time for her to play victim. Okay? Woe is me. Yo, I went through so much to get here. And basically, just like how we saw many situations before.
Viewers who followed the drama from the start noticed the turning point, a late-night video hastily deleted, showing Leanna in tears with the caption, "Sometimes you give everything and it's still not enough." The video sparked immediate speculation. Was this regret over the relationship's unraveling, foreshadowing, or just a ploy for sympathy as proceedings turned ugly? Either way, the damage was already done. Internet sleuths pieced together her disappearing posts, changes in follower lists, and sudden absence from events. The writing on the wall had become impossible to ignore. As the divorce stories hit the public, all the skeptics and critics who once warned Travis flooded comment sections. We saw this coming a mile away. Even those who initially rooted for the couple now found closure in predicting the ending. In the end, the fairy tale dissolved into a well-worn cautionary tale, a reminder that ignoring red flags doesn't just cost you money, it may cost you your peace.